Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
On the Rock Interview, we're so thrilled to have on an incredible actress, comedian, and author, Victoria Jackson. Victoria, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And you're Nashville based. You've been here like almost as long as me, since 2012. And you got a brand new album out, When I Get to Nashville.
Yes.
It's available on CD and obviously all musical downloads.
When I get to Nashville, I'm gonna knock 'em dead. I'll be the only country singing star who can sing standing on her head. I'll play my ukulele at the Opry and make their hearts stand still. I'm gonna be a country star when I get to Nashville. You know, everybody has a gimmick. I mean, Dolly Parton has 2 gimmicks. I'll have 3 because I can do a handstand. If Dolly Parton did a handstand, she'd suffocate herself.
Well, you know, and rumors are that you will be like the next Minnie Pearl.
That's my goal.
Except that you can stand on your head, and I don't know if Minnie could do that.
Well, her gimmick was the tag on the hat.
Right.
And my gimmick will be the handstand or a bow or, you know, something.
Well, I got to tell you, listening to this album, Victoria, it's so much fun. And obviously, I've enjoyed your comedy throughout the years, and from the TV shows and from the movies and everything you've done, and 20 times on Johnny Carson. But it seems like this is a very personal album, and you recorded it here in Nashville with some friends. Sometimes it feels like you're talking about your husband. Am I right or wrong in that?
It could be, or it could be art. Who knows? You mean the song, How Do You Undo I Do? Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, that's on Spotify.
Or the one, every time you give a girl the smile you promised me.
Right.
place
Or also about his job.
My husband has a part-time job at the Longview Recreation Center. He gets paid to watch women work out at the Longview Recreation Center. He always gets to work early. He always gets home late. He walks around with a smile on his face because he just can't wait to get to work the next day. My husband has a part-time job. Yeah, kind of goes like that.
Yeah, it seems like there's some real life stories in here.
There could be, or it could be art.
Or it's art. I think one of my favorites also, In a Minor Key.
Aww,
Really like that one.
He listened to it.
Really enjoyed that song on the album. 18 songs.
I want to take a trip to anywhere. It would be paradise if you were there. But you are stuck to your easy chair. I guess you're stuck in a minor key.
You had a lot of fun doing this.
I had so much fun because there was no deadline. It wasn't for any other purpose than, well, ever since I was a child, I figured out that anytime something was bothering me, like my brain was squishing around for a while, like kneading dough, and then it would like come out in a poem or a song, and it would usually have a resolution at the end.
Right.
And so that was my therapy. I didn't realize that was my therapy. And like when I was a teenager, I would write songs like, I turned my pimple into a beauty mark, and no one knows what really goes on beneath the black dot of my face. I'm not a disgrace anymore. I took a thick black pen to the big red set and darkened it and covered it. Now a beauty mark is all that shows by my nose. So take that.
Right.
And then when in my 20s, I was writing songs like Use Me, because I was an out-of-work actress wannabe.
Well, yeah, because you were also, you know, selling cigarettes, and you were doing typing and doing all these other side jobs.
Yes.
Trying to make it big in LA.
He did his research. And then I wrote the boyfriend song because I wasn't married and I was looking for Mr. Right. And Willie Nelson sang that with me on Saturday Night Live.
Wow.
That was
I remember that. That video's up.
Yeah, it's on
Well,
YouTube.
Of course, on this album, though, you also have Rob Schneider.
He did a little cameo because he was performing at Zany's, Nashville, and I had cancer 7 years ago, breast cancer, double mastectomy, chemo, radiation, and I was bald. And I thought, he'll probably say yes because I have cancer and I'm bald. So I stalked him, and I went to the Zany's green room. I was like, hi, Rob, because we used to work together on SNL.
Right.
And he's like, hi. He was super nice and sweet. He always is, but I was milking the cancer thing. Yeah, I just got to admit. And I said, would you do a little cameo thing on this song, When I Get to Nashville. And he did it. Isn't it adorable?
It's adorable. I love it.
It's like meant to be. It's like one of those things it's like divine. It's just plopped into the song. It couldn't be more perfect. His sense of humor and,
It just fits. And also, knowing your guys' work, working together, at Saturday Night Live, 6 years, and you were always doing the weekend update and doing great, your poetry and your comedy. But I mean, that's what you've been known for, Victoria, is bringing humor to all of us and just kind of lightening it. I think you did this with this new album.
Thank you.
But then also, you're not afraid to go with the heavier stuff too, like your books, to where, both of your books, dealt with, major issues.
Yes, they did.
But they came from the heart also.
I'm very deep. I'm deep.
So I guess I shouldn't mention the new movie you're in then.
Oh, Jingle Smells.
Right, which rhymes with bells, but it smells. So you're in Jingle with John Schneider.
And Jim Brewer. And I just do a small role, but it was a super funny role.
A role is a role.
It was a funny role, and I also was in this movie Into the Spotlight that's streaming now, and I got to be a high school principal, and that was a pretty funny role.
Well, you've been in so many movies and TV, though, but I have to bring up one of them to where it's like become a cult movie. Who knew? UHF.
Yeah.
And you're in it.
I'm the straight man. I got a crush on Weird Al when we were shooting it. He cast me as the leading lady, so I took that as a compliment. And so then, but like when I watch it now, I'm like, oh, I didn't have much to do. I was the straight man. He was the goofy one, which is fine.
But you're in a hit movie.
Like Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis.
Right, but you're in a hit movie, just like being on Saturday Night Live. Yeah. I mean, everybody still loves all the great skits and everything you did. I love watching even the Johnny Carson stuff you did, because obviously when you were out there working, when you got lured out after a Birmingham Summer Stock with a one-way ticket to go to LA.
Did his research.
And so you're trying to make it in LA, and then Johnny Carson kind of discovers you?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Actually, I was doing my 6 minutes stand-up for 2 years, honing it until...
You really get 6 minutes down at that point, though. I mean, it's ironclad.
That was Carson. They gave you 6 minutes, and they gave you $600. But it was good, publicity.
Yeah.
And when Johnny gives you that sign, then they say you have a career. So he did. So I'm very grateful. He got me. Like, he didn't have to get me. David Letterman never got me.
Right.
But let me go back to my songs.
Please.
Okay, so in my 30s, I'm writing songs like I Am Not a Bimbo, which I sang on SNL.
Yes, you
and
did.
I wrote, what else? Then I leave my career, so when I marry my high school sweetheart in 92, because one of us had to give up our career, we both were doing what we loved, but because I'm the perfect Christian wife and mother, I gave up mine. Yes, I did. And reminded him of that every day for 30 years.
Totally.
Yeah. And so I'm in Miami, where his career is as a police helicopter pilot, and I'm trapped in the suburbs. So I write a song called My Purple Cage, because I painted the walls lavender, because the set of Friends was lavender, and they looked like they were happy all the time.
Which also Lavender Hair, your song and your book.
You should be my PR agent. So, anyway, I'm writing songs, and they're like, my purple cage, it traps me in, I have a key, I could be free. And I wrote, nobody respects a suburbanite. They think you've settled for the lowest form of life. So I'm doing that there.
Right.
Then we move here, and on the way here, I'm like, oh, thank you, God, I get to escape Miami. There's no seasons there, it's hot and humid, there's no show business. So I'm driving in my white pickup truck with 3 dogs in the front seat. And the dogs are fighting over food, and I'm breaking up the fights, and my arm's bloody, and the wheels are turning. I'm in the highway, and I go, when I get to Nashville, da 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 da. And so then I get here, and I'm in a movie with Ray Stevens called Campin' Buddies.
Right.
And he's a great songwriter.
Oh,
I thought I should sing at the Grand Ole Opry. I should be the next Minnie Pearl.
Yeah.
I have hundreds of original songs. but I don't know how to get my foot in the door because I've never lived here before.
Right.
So I thought, if it's meant to be, it'll organically happen. So I'm with Ray Stevens, and his songwriting partner, Buddy Kolb, we're on the set 12 hours. I said, I write a couple songs. And he goes, really? I go, you want to hear one that I'm working on? And he goes, okay. So I gave him, I sang the little, When I Get to Nashville. And Buddy goes, can I fiddle with that? Can you give me that paper tonight and I'll fiddle with it? And I said, sure. Because they're like big time songwriters.
Oh, yeah.
Very successful.
Totally.
The next day he comes back and he's tweaked it a little and it was way better. It was really good.
So it's opera ready now.
It's Opry ready, it's radio ready.
Yeah, well, I know it's radio ready because
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you're getting added to a lot of playlists,
Yeah.
with your songs and
Yeah.
music. I think the Opry,
I heard it on the radio 2 days ago, my song.
doesn't that, I mean, how do you feel about that, Victoria? I mean, you've been in Nashville now, since 2012, but it's like you're driving around in your vehicle and you hear your own song on the radio with your voice.
That's one of the high points of life. Now, here's my cell phone. Ah, my song's on the radio! I got it on camera. Okay.
And no one was harmed.
No one died.
Okay,
so
good.
I checked that off of my bucket list. Now my last thing on my bucket list is sing at the Opry.
Right. I think
If
we
you
can make
know
that
it.
happen.
You know it? You know any people?
Yeah, we know
You
some
got a
people.
guy?
Yeah, we
You
know some ukulele people, some capo people, Opry people. I think we can make some connections here.
Yes, thank
I think
you.
this can definitely happen. And you know what? I can't help but think about this too, because with your father being a coach and studying gymnastics for 13 years, so that's why you were able to do all this great stuff on Johnny Carson, Saturday Night Live. Did you do a lot of gymnastics while you were recording this?
Okay, so here's a handstand at the naked statue on Music Row.
Right.
And there's my ukulele. Now I was 62 when we took that shot. Now I'm 64. I might have.
So you're still doing the gymnastics, is what you're saying?
I can't hold a handstand.
But it
in-
plays a role in the music.
My last handstand I stuck, I think was age 60 or 62. It was probably this one. And now I can only do it if I cheat and lean against something.
But this is great music to do gymnastics by, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think so. I think if you're doing yoga or gymnastics or anything, this is the album.
Yeah, I mean, it starts, it's funny, but it's deep and sad and happy. And then I sing about my daughters, and then my mom sings on it. She's in heaven now. And then Minnie Pearl has a song at the end.
Which I love.
And then there's stand-up at the end.
Right,
comedy.
but I mean, it's like, it kind of had, what it reminded me of too, Victoria, because I've always been a fan of comedy albums, but it reminds me of back in the day when I used to buy comedy vinyl, like Richard Pryor and everything, and all these great, George Carlin, and you would sit there and listen to the record and listen to the comedy, and it's like going, oh my gosh, I've got to go see him in person too. And so you are going to have some upcoming shows this coming year.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously viewers are going to have to go to your website, possibly in vinyl.
Oh, yes, I'm going to make it in vinyl, but I'm going to add my songs from the past and make it a
good.
double vinyl, like the Beatles. Did the Beatles have a double vinyl?
Yeah, they had a couple double vinyl. Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of worked out for them.
Yeah, and yeah. So, and then people can check my Instagram. I think it's called Victoria Jackson Official.
Okay.
To see where I'm
And
performing.
also your website and everywhere else.
VictoriaJackson.com.
What about the books? Are the books still available? Because let's say hypothetically somebody wants a signed copy of one of your 2 books.
VictoriaJackson.com.
Okay.
And then this is also on Amazon and Spotify and everything like that.
It's just fun. It's fun. I feel like some of the songs, obviously you got the instrumentation, your incredible ukulele playing, and other ones are almost like spoken word poetry, kind of like what you've been known for. And I like that also.
Thank
It's
you.
fun. It's
Well, I
it's
also
like,
slip Bible verses in there.
right. It's like, is that like, to where you kind of sneaking it in there?
I snuck in Ephesians 2, 8, and 9.
Not easy.
When I went to Bible college when I was 16, because I skipped 2nd grade, so I got out of high school early. So my preacher there, he always used to take his wallet and he used to go, this is me and you, and this is our sin. And our sin separates us from God. This is God. So God came down as Jesus, died on the cross for our sins, and now we can be with him. for eternity. Our sins are forgiven. And Ephesians 2:8-9 was his favorite verse. For by grace are you saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is a gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. Because most religions teach works for salvation. You know, crawl on your knees to Mecca, say Hail Mary, give money. But the Bible is not we can never be good enough.
Right.
So I think that's my most important message, is about Jesus dying on the cross and raising from the dead for us. So I have to slip that in there, because all the rest is just a vapor that appears for a little while.
But it's almost like an autobiographical album. I feel like I'm hanging out in your kitchen.
Yes,
you know,
you are.
Or in your car when I get to Nashville. I'm in the truck with you and your dogs.
Hey, we just wrote a song at the beginning of the show. What was that you said? That was.
It's not about me, it's about you.
It's not about me, it's about you. It's not about me, it's about you. It's not about me, it's not about me. Now let's talk about you.
No, let's
I want to talk about me, I want to talk about me, I want to talk about you and me and thee.
I'll tell you what.
That is a hit song.
You know, right here, you need, these are hit songs here. And besides that, you need to get the entire album. The CD's out now. It's also, you can do the digital music if you listen that way. Victoria Jackson, When I Get to Nashville, and go see her live, see her comedy show, and the many great things that she's doing. Be sure and visit her website, social media. Go see Victoria Jackson live in concert also, and get this signed.
Eric,
and maybe one of her books.
You're the sweetest.
I'm coming to the show.
Well, he is the best. You did research, you actually listened to it.
It's a great album.
Thank
18
you.
songs. Thank you,
Thank
Victoria.
you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.